Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the BCF podcast. Very special episode today with Boston College's all-time leading scorer and recently retired jersey number 2, Troy Bell, who was a teammate of ours for a year and set a great path over 4 years at BC. All-time leading scorer at BC, and until recently was the all-time leading scorer in the Big East, and we're giving the new one an asterisk anyway, so we still consider him the best with over 2,600 points lifetime, a Big East championship before we got there, and just lots of amazing shots, amazing plays, amazing memories. And then, as we'll talk about, a really great pro career across the globe as well. So, Troy, thank you for joining one of our favorites. So happy to have you on.
Oh, I appreciate it. And what's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling tonight?
Pretty good. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we're gonna get into your playing career and all that type of stuff, but I wanted to start off by just talking about your transition into fatherhood. We kind of get to see it a little bit on social media, and you make it look fun. Just tell us about your transition into fatherhood and how's that going?
You know what's funny, Byrd, is like when I was growing up, I wasn't thinking about no family. I wasn't thinking about kids like that. Like, I don't know what my goals exactly were, but they were not anything close to like what I'm doing now on the daily. Especially, I'm down here. She said my name. Especially, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my daughter. She was yelling my name. She thinks she's funny. She thinks she's funny. She was keep saying just to make me yell. Like, she does this. But I know her so well that I know she's trying to play me, so I'm not going for it. But it was crazy because it wasn't one of my goals. But like now that when I first stopped playing ball, I reached out to Cooley and I was talking to him about coaching, and he had promised some guy overseas a job, but he said if this guy can't get his I forgot what he needed, his work visa, something like that. If he can't get it, I'm going to bring you on as my last assistant. And I wanted to do those things. Like, I really did. I didn't want to stop and slow down. And I'm used to moving, so I wanted to keep moving. But then it fell through. The guy got his green card. I ended up staying home. But what was crazy about that is that my dad ended up like getting real sick. So it ended up being a blessing that I didn't get that job, because after being gone for so long, I had to spend the last like year and a half with my dad, like on the daily in between everything else I was doing. And I wouldn't have had that time if I'd have had that job. And knowing my dad, he wouldn't have told me the truth about how sick he was. So it'd have been one of those situations where you just get that call and you're like, is this guy serious? You know what I'm saying? So it ended up being like a gift that I got to spend that much time with my dad before he passed. But like after that, I feel like everything changed. Like, I had one kid, then I had another kid, and then I lost pops, and I lost my uncle, and just all this stuff started happening. Like, you know, as your family members start getting older, and I'm sorry to run into this rant, but like, this is kind of just what happened. Like, I planned to keep moving. I didn't plan on slowing down to this degree, but it was like things just kept happening. And then like when you lose people you're close to, it just put everything in perspective. Like, you know what? I need to be here right now. I need to be home right now. I need to foster these relationships. And I know looking back down the line, I'm going to be happy that I did, as opposed to just staying on the exact same path when something needed to change. You know what I mean? Like, I would have never forgave myself if I would have not been able to be with my dad with how close we were. You know what I mean? So Now I'm just really focused on being present for my kids and just doing that kind of stuff for now.
And what would you say? So you got the situation that a lot of people talk about and wish that they had. They want their boy first, and then they get a girl. What's the differences between raising a boy and a girl?
I'm not going to lie, man. I try my best not to treat them different, to be honest, because I don't think when you're in a situation where someone's playing favorites, and we've all been there, like, I think we all can agree that it sucks. Like, I don't care what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a sibling, but I could think back if I did have one and he got like, you know, 2 ice cream cones and I got one for whatever reason, I don't think I'd have been rolling with that. You know what I mean? So I treat them the same. Like, as soon as Gigi gets a little older, she's going to be doing her workout in the morning with Bear, and she's going to be on the boxing pads with Bear, and she's going to be working on her shots in the driveway with Bear. Like, they're going to be doing the exact same program. So, and if, you know, if she does something bad, you know, she gets the same treatment as Bear. Like, I'm equal opportunity, man. So it's not really different for me now, but I know that when she gets older, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be a very pretty girl, I think that's when things are going to get real whack. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to even think that far ahead just because I don't even like it now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even like it at all. So I don't know what that's going to be about.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you're in Minnesota now. And just think back to when you were originally coming up in Minnesota. What was it like, trying to get recruited out of Minnesota, earning respect out of Minnesota, especially because, people won't consider it a hotbed, but, you trying to make your name as one of the nation's best. What was that like at the time?
Man, we were nobodies, man. That's the best way to say it. Like, nobody really cared about us from a recruiting standpoint. I felt like there were guys that came before me that were good players, but they would always end up at this school called North Dakota School of Science. It was like a JUCO. It was almost like where the city guys went to, I'm not going to say went to die because, like, you're not just dying. You're getting education, even if it's a 2-year. But I just kind of say that because, like, a lot of these guys put a lot into the ball, but they just were never going to see the results that guys like you would have seen come out of a better area. Guys like Craig would have seen come out of a better area. You know what I mean? So it just seemed like it was always the same show. Like, somebody would do good. Everyone would be like, wow, this guy's a player. And then he just goes to North Dakota School of Science or something like that. And it'd just be over for them. Then they're back home, doing whatever they're doing. So, I really didn't have a whole lot of expectations. I was just trying to hoop. And then going into my senior, right before my senior year in that AAU, that's when, like, I felt like everything kind of turned. We went to the Peach Jam and did really well. Some guys on my team, matter of fact, 4 guys on my team went to Nike camp, came out top 50, and that's when all the coaches started coming to our games. But before that, we were all doing our thing. Like, nothing was new. It's just we finally got some eyes on us, and we were able to deliver. And now that's pretty much all that really happened, man. We just went and got it out the mud, like, literally. Nobody cared about us.
I know one of the things Craig likes to find out on the show is who recruited you the hardest and who kind of sold you dreams.
Well, I feel like Xavier recruited me probably the hardest, and then BC. Dreams. I feel like the guy at Tennessee at the time was I want to go into an old rap phrase and say perpetrating. I feel like he was I felt like he was doing a little too much as far as like what was going to happen, because they had a guy there named, I felt like it was Tony Travis. I can't remember his name now, but he was a good little player for them. And I feel like they were making it seem like we were going to play a lot together, but I think I would have got there and just wouldn't have played that much at all until he left. So my sophomore year, I think I'd have got some burn, but I feel like they were kind of underplaying how much they loved him. But when I took the visit, like, I was like, oh, no, they loved him. Like, I'm about to be chilling. You know what I'm saying? And you know how you get to a situation where it doesn't matter what you do in the practice, or it doesn't matter. It's like, this is our guy. And I just never wanted to be in a situation where I couldn't, try to work my way into some minutes. I never cared about a guarantee, but you want to feel like if you do your thing, you'll get to play. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go somewhere and feel like, oh, well, I'm just guess I ain't about to play. You know what I mean? Like, so, and that's what I didn't want. I just wanted to go somewhere where I had a fighting chance for minutes immediately, though. I wasn't trying to wait. So the hardest was Xavier. I feel like Tennessee was kind of selling wolf tickets, and then I feel like BC just did like just enough. Coach Skinner came in with that swag, like, we're gonna be good with it without you, and he looked real serious about it too. You know what I mean? It just was, he just said it, and just kept eating his cake. I think he was eating like some sweet potato pie at the home visit. You know what I mean? And because my mom went crazy on the cooking before they came, man. It was
eat it up.
Oh man, he didn't really say anything either, bro. He was just in the living room eating good, like. Coach O'Shea, Coach O'Shea, he's just going crazy, like, then we're going to do this. And we got this guy named Xavier Singletary coming in, and he's going to be the best guy ever. That's how he was saying it. And I was like, cool, got a dude coming in. All right, you know what I mean? I bought it all. It all sounded good to me. And that was it, man. I mean, I think it was also cool how comfortable Coach Skinner looked at my house, too. He looked like he lived there, too. You know what I mean? He was really comfortable. Like, oh, we got to sweep check. Hey, Maggie, do you have any more of that? She was, like he's really in there. He barely said anything though. Like I'm talking about barely anything. Like it was crazy. He was just, I don't know. Just like
That's the least shocking thing I've ever heard.
I know, right? I mean, that's what you kind of would expect, but it was just weird. I think looking back on it now, it's just weird because that was literally the first time he had been there. Like I'm here every Sunday. You know what I mean? Or this is what we do here. Like, man, it was crazy.
Yeah. I got some stories about my home visit. It was pretty funny though. How he pulled up in my neighborhood because it was prime time when he pulled up, and he just he pulled like you said, Coach could have pulled up like he been there 1,000 times. So that was pretty cool.
He pulled up like Danny Glover and Lethal Weapon, all smooth.
Exactly.
I was gonna say Shaft, bro. You gonna call him Danny Glover? Ooh.
Yeah.
He got Danny Glover vibes to me always.
My neighbors knew who he was, so they turned the music down when he pull up, and then he walk up to them. He like, y'all gonna watch my car, make sure my car good, right? And they like, we got you. But
he came in there with
yeah,
that
man,
hood clout.
Definitely. Like I said, been in Minnesota, man. Very close to the George Floyd situation. I'm sure it hit very close to home for you and your family and your community. Tell us a little bit about what's going on out there as far as that situation is concerned.
Man, well, I grew up like I want to say about 5 blocks from where that happened. It was a neighborhood that I have a lot of memories about. Just a lot of memories growing up there. It was crazy, like when you're watching it. Like when I was watching the video, and I'm like, first I thought it was somewhere else. I'm like, but then I'm like, well, that's Cup Foods, like down the street from where I grew up. So I'm looking like, man, this is happening here. You know what I mean? Like it threw me off. I thought it was just somewhere else. Then you find out it's here, and then you're watching like, okay, y'all can go ahead and get off, buddy. At the time, I didn't know who it was. You know what I mean? You're just watching them on some guy. So I'm like, all right, go ahead and get off him. And then he starts like, just saying what he's saying. And you're like, is nobody gonna like help out? Or it was, like I said, it was just like watching like a car crash in slow motion, bro. Like it was just crazy just to watch. I told my girl after I saw that, I said, that's probably like one of the worst videos that I've ever seen. And it's crazy because I've seen gorier stuff that happened in real life, but when you just watch it, in the context of what it is, like whether the 20 was fake, whether it wasn't fake, I think they said it wasn't fake. Like it just was crazy to watch like that level of disregard for human life. You know what I'm saying? Like just live, and then it's happening like, in my area, but then I'm thinking like, well, people that aren't from here, I mean, I guess you could say this in a lot of places, but like, especially in the minority community, I wouldn't even just say the Black community, the minority community, like, a lot of the Minneapolis police have been, I'm just going to say a little bit out of control, ever since I can remember. So, seeing that it was here, I can't even say that I was like that surprised just because of, the tension that I felt, that I've seen, that I've heard about, with the police. And then you just look at how big of a business, policing is, and then incarceration and just everything going on. You know what I mean? It was just so many things were just going through my mind at one time, man. It was crazy. But the city now, the city's been, well, even before, man, when they did all the marches and the protests and the organizing, like the response, that came from all that, not only here, but from all around the world, has just been amazing, and just seeing how many people have come together on a positive note. And even watch the marches here, man, like, all the races are together. It just lets you know that like, obviously there's a lot of racism in the world, but there's so much love at the same time, and that's the part I just hope that we could try to focus on more, man. But the whole situation, it was just, man, bro, it was just crazy. And then thinking about it from a parent standpoint, just hoping that you can or we can just try to make the world better for the next generation. Like, you know, however we can do that, you know? So, man, that question is just an everything type question, bro. It just brings up so many different thoughts and feelings. You know what I mean?
So speaking about like feelings, or was there anything like from previous in your past that you had an interaction with the police that kind of brought that up for you as well?
Well, the first time, my first real interaction with the police, I feel like I was probably about 14. I was driving back from a game with my mom, and so they pulled us over, and I'm like, damn, why they pull over my mom? You know what I'm saying? And it was dark after a game, and then they ended up like pulling her out the car. Like, let me see your thing. Like, they're like, you have a warrant. I'm like, I know my mom doesn't have a warrant. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, but they ended up like taking her and cuffing her. I feel like my dad had to get her. Well, what happened was her cousin, I think he got a speeding ticket in her car a long time ago, didn't tell my mom. So there was a warrant, and she said she was my mom. But me knowing my mom, I'm like, my mom don't have a warrant. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting out the car. Like, they put my mom in the back. I got out the car because I knew that my mom didn't do nothing, but I was young. I didn't really know all the rules like that. I got out the car just on some like y'all got my mom messed up. You know what I mean? And I remember they like upped the heat or whatever. Like, get back in the car with the big light and all that. And, you know, I was young at that point. I had heard a lot of stuff about the police, but like, I didn't really have an interaction with the police. So I didn't really know what protocol was. I didn't know that at that moment I could have got shot, no problem. You know what I mean? But I was just more reacting like, I know my mom doesn't have a warrant, like, period. Like, obviously I can't go give them any knowledge about anything. I don't know what's going on, but I know that my mom doesn't have a warrant, you know? And so that was my first interaction. But that ended up, my mom spent the weekend in jail, right? So I got home. I'm like, Dad, go get my mom. You know what I'm saying? And my dad was like, nah, we're just gonna let her stay the weekend because I'm not about to pay that. I'm about to pay the. I was like, I was so mad at my dad, bro. I swear. I'm like, you know, you're a kid, you can't do nothing. But I'm just like, I can't believe this guy's about to leave my mom in the joint over the weekend. You know, my pops was silly like that, man. Because she was getting out on Sunday. It was something weird, but he did not go get my mom. I just couldn't believe he didn't go get my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then my mom came back and was like, it wasn't even bad. Like, she said some of the girls in jail were funny. Like, she just kicked it, you know, made lemonade out of lemons, you know.
Made the best out of the situation, yeah.
Right. But I could not believe that my dad didn't get her. But she did say, though, when she was going through the booking and all that people in there were getting roughed up. Like, I do remember that. Like, she said people were getting roughed up in there. Like, some deserved, some undeserved, you know. And so that was like one of my first interactions. But I mean, I've had a lot of interactions, bro. Like, honestly, it's more, especially when I was young. You know, you drive a nice car, you're black. You know how that goes. So, you know, you get pulled over to ask you, is this your car? Where'd you get it? What do you do? You know, I mean, a lot of times, but really though, it was only in Minneapolis and Minnesota. Like, I didn't get harassed in any other state, not Tennessee. I'm not saying people don't get harassed in other states, because they do, but I'm just saying I didn't. Not Tennessee, not when I was in the D League in Austin, not in the D League in Albuquerque, not overseas, not in Chicago. I mean, none of the other places, man. But I know it happens everywhere. But I'm just saying, for me, my bad experiences have all been in Minnesota with the police.
Has there ever been a time while you were at BC where you had to deal with something within police, or not even that, just maybe like systematic racism?
You know what, man? I've come across a lot of different small little racist situations, but to be honest, man, like, one story I told when I was talking to this one guy is when I was in first grade. I went to an all-white school. I was the only black kid. And 3 white kids tried to jump me, and it just went really bad for them, really, really bad. But after that, though, we ended up being cool. I just think that, because I remember they were like, "You're black, and we don't like black," whatever they said. But I just at that point, I just felt like they didn't know no black people, so they just were like, "Oh, you're different. Let's see what's up," you know, scrape them dudes. And then after we started going on, just through the school year, like we were all cool. Like we're all Facebook friends now. You know, I'll be liking their pictures when I see them with their families. I just think that they didn't know they didn't have any interactions, but then being around, they're like, oh, this guy's cool. We're playing together. We're doing our thing. I just think that a lot of times people need to really interact. I just think that so much of it comes from no interaction, and they just, you know, make a decision about somebody, you know, way before you really can, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing. If you knew people, instead of just, you know, going off what you heard or what someone told you or what you saw on TV, I just think this would be a much easier thing to conquer. But with so many people, you know, in the world, and we're just so spread out. Some people live in these little towns, they never get out to see anything, so they just keep their little small town mentalities. But I feel like if we could interact more, I feel like it wouldn't even be that big an issue, to be honest.
Yeah. And just coming from, like you said, transitioning from Minnesota, how was it, that transition of not knowing anybody socially when you first got there? You know, you're different. Obviously, majority of the campus doesn't look like you. How was it, you know, at first, you know, transitioning and kind of feeling your way through campus?
You know what, bro? It was the exact same thing as when I went to that all-white elementary school. I was the only black person, and then I went to this school called Holy Angels, and there was like 5 black people. So to be honest, it was the same as what I was used to. You know what I mean? From a school standpoint, obviously, when I came home, I lived in the inner city, so it was, you know, mixed up and everybody, you know, Mexicans and blacks and whites. But from a school standpoint, I was used to being around all white people, damn near. So I didn't really have to adjust to anything. I'd say my biggest adjustment was having Yuka as a roommate, because I didn't have no siblings. So, you know, having to communicate with him, like, so you got somebody coming over? Do you got somebody coming over? Like that, you know, that was my biggest thing. Like just having to live with somebody. I never had to live with anybody.
Yeah.
But campus was smooth, man. I didn't really have any issues. And also too, man, outside of basketball, I didn't really have any expectations either. Like I didn't come in there thinking this was going to be, you know, party time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just trying to handle business and, you know, do my thing. And my thing was, you know, try to represent the basketball team and just black folks in a cool way. Cause, you know, as black people, I feel like we always have a responsibility for our student body that doesn't get to interact with black people. Like, so interacting with us for some of these people is going to be the only interactions they have with black people. So, you know, just being responsible and understanding that how we interact and how I treat them and how they treat me is probably going to affect how they deal with black people for the rest of their life. So if you can make that a good experience, then that can also help, you know, knock some of this racism down some. I've always taken that seriously, like going to these all white schools growing up.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's something we've talked about on previous shows. I think you probably said it better than I said it. A lot of times on the show, I've said there's things that when you get to a school like BC or Holy Angels or whatever the case may be, you just can't bring with you. That's the things that we've talked about. Like you just got to leave that there, so you know, so that you can, like you said, represent in the right way for the next person. And just also, like, you got out of that situation, you need to stay out of that situation.
No doubt.
I
totally agree with that, bro. I remember one of the older people had a saying when I first got there. I felt like I was a freshman. It might have been a football player, I can't remember. But they used to always say, there's no thugs in Chestnut Hill. And basically just saying exactly what you said, like, okay, what you were doing is what you were doing, but here's what you're doing now, and adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like, adjust or leave. And it won't be probably leaving on your own accord. It'll probably be you leaving on some, you know, like the BC police or the regular police or the dean of students or whatever. So I feel like it's super important to realize that wherever you came from is where you came from, but being present and staying in the moment in regards to where you are now, you know, especially back then. No, that's real. You gotta know that you're not in the hood no more.
Right.
Although, Troy, I think it was 2004, so it was the year after you left. I'm pretty sure the stat was, because Chestnut Hill is technically like part of Newton, part of Brighton. I think Newton was rated like the safest city in America, and Brighton had the highest rate of car thefts in America in the same year.
That's crazy. And it's like right next to each other, right?
Right.
Yeah. And BC's in both. So
yeah. That's an interesting stat right there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think while you were at BC, sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just saying you was doing the carjacking.
Yeah.
You the only one know about that statistic.
Back to the WWF days. Repo.
I got this sick new whip. You want to get a ride? Like, yo.
Hey, what's crazy though is if Farnan would have been jacking cars, like he would have probably been able to do that forever. Nobody would have ever suspected you. Like never. You don't fit any description of any criminal.
Gone in 60 seconds.
He's
maybe like a Norwegian criminal or something.
Right, but like, yo, it's a little white dude. He's stealing all the cars. They'd be like, no, he's not. He's not.
No, he's not.
We know
he's not. That's funny. Yeah, so Troy, you did, if I do say so, I think you represented your community, everyone, Minnesota really well when you were at BC in all aspects. So a lot of what people remember also, obviously, though, is basketball. So in terms of BC, you won, a league championship. You scored a lot of points, had a lot of wins. What are some of your favorite memories from the court at BC?
Man, there's a lot, man. And it's funny because since this quarantine stuff started, everybody's been, doing podcasts and conversating and communicating. So I feel like I've had more time to actually like really let things sink in. And I just feel so thankful for the whole experience. Like, when you're all the way done and you actually have no aspirations of like ever playing competitive basketball again, not even at the Y. So it's really just like behind you. Like it's a weird feeling, man. I've been able to think about so many more memories, like, and then even things that you forgot about that pertain to that time. Like, but most importantly, bro, like it's the relationships, like on the court. Like I was watching, like I had posted something on my Instagram. We were playing Providence my sophomore year, and it wasn't even about scoring. Like I was just like looking at how we played defense on the press. I was like, man, like we were really locking up, like just the camaraderie, the brotherhood, it just, and then also too, like none of it felt fake. Like you've all, Byrd and Craig, you guys been on a lot of teams, and you know how like sometimes you're on those teams and it's just like some guys aren't buying in, the vibe is weird, you're not all there for the same reasons, as you go on in your career, sometimes even early on, you encounter these things. So like when I think about the wins, especially like close games, I think about like what it took for that actually to happen. Like the steal that so-and-so made, the charge that so-and-so took, the block that led to this, and now we took the lead, bro. Like I don't even really like think about, I guess I would say the classic answers, like, and then I did this, and it's not even about me. Like I just feel good about what like myself and my teammates were able to do. And ultimately, if you were ever able to win something like their freshman year, we won our side of the conference, like that's always the best stuff. Talking to your friends about what you guys accomplished together, like that is those are like some of the coolest parts. Like when someone posts a video of something you guys did together and you share it too, like that's the stuff that I think about now, bro. I don't even don't get me wrong, like trophies and stuff are good. Anytime you can be acknowledged for something that you did, nothing wrong with that, but looking at it now, bro, especially the state of the world, like it's so much more to me about togetherness and like the things you accomplish together, bro. Like that's what matters. That's what matters more than anything to me at this point. I think my answer probably would have been different, like, had all this stuff not happened. And I feel like everyone's viewing the world in kind of a different way at this point. I don't think anybody is the same person they were 7 months ago. You know what I mean? Not anybody. So I don't know. I just think that in a way we've all kind of like had to like change and mature and grow all together on this planet. Whichever way you're growing and whatever, we've all changed to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. And to that point, I mean, again, individually and as a team across 4 years at BC, you had a lot of great things happen. But so after the first 3 years, then these guys showed up. So what do you remember I guess about being a rising senior with a lot of expectations. You had already been a player of the year sophomore year, and it was kind of your last go round in college. Like, so what do you remember about that? And then what do you remember about these two fine gentlemen joining the team too?
Well, first, what I remember about them, man, is like they came in and they were ready to make an impact right away. And I'm talking like mentally. That was the best part about Byrd and Craig. Like, I remember Byrd specifically, you know, he came in, he had a lot of heart. And he was just ready to scrap. And he was a good teammate day one. Like whoever your previous coaches were and teammates, I could tell that you came from a place of love, kind of like I did. Like you're gonna come, you're gonna put your heart into this, you're gonna give it your all, you're gonna be a good teammate, you're gonna do whatever it takes. And even as his Bird's career progressed at BC, like every year his role got bigger, and he just brought like a certain type of leadership, a certain type of grittiness. Like in my opinion, I feel like it takes a certain type of mentality to win consistently, and he was that type of guy. You know what I mean? That's why even after, you know, me and Yuka left, like these guys continued to flourish because they came in with the right mentality. Now Craig, I had never seen a guy that young, like that strong. Like he had the body of a man, you know, and he had a great touch, a lot of fire. You know, and that first scrimmage that we played that we had talked about when we went live, or whatever scrimmage that was, I don't know if you had 30 or 40, man, or something, but it was high 30s or low 40s. I don't know what you did.
It was 46. I remember this vividly.
46. And
it was like 31 at half, I think.
Yeah, he went crazy. And the thing about it is, I remember I started off that scrimmage like real hot, and then I got cold, and then I think I probably just got a little like tired because I don't think we had that many people, like six players or something.
It was upperclassmen versus underclassmen, and there weren't many of either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Something happened to Ryan or something. He didn't practice either. Ryan didn't practice.
Yeah, bro. Like I saw a little gassed.
Time out. I can't curse on this pod. My mother said I can't curse no more. But BS if you got tired. I remember that first scrimmage. You ain't nah.
Because I feel like I stopped. I feel like I started off hot, but then I feel like I don't know what I ended up with.
37.
Oh, okay. But I feel like it was mostly. I feel like it was mostly in the beginning though. I felt because we lost by what, like 15 or 20 or something, right? Wasn't it something like that?
It was so crazy.
I don't know, but I was trooping it back to upper, trying to reevaluate my life. I remember. I don't know if that's the move right here. I was
But hey, bro, but I'm gonna tell you what's funny about that. Because my freshman year, Coach Skinner had us doing some drill, bro. It was like a conditioning drill. I can't remember what it was, but I just know that it never ended. And I remember, like, you know what it was? We were doing something like those backboard tips, but you had to go full court. And I think we might have been undermanned. So, like, I don't think we had enough people to really make that drill make sense. So you were really, like, running, like, real sprints. And I remember I called my friend at a junior college, and I was thinking that same thought, though, because I was that tired. I was just like, man, can it really be this hard? You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember feeling that way. So I know what that feeling feels like, bro. I called somebody. Jabron. I called Jabron. I said, bro, this is crazy. And he was just like,
hey, true story. Leanne. Remember Leanne, the strip coach?
Yeah.
She just knew it. She saw it in my face the next day. Leanne came to me. She was like, look, man, you doing great. Like, you doing fine. Like, I was tight for about a week. Like, I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't say nothing. She was like, look.
Oh, I remember we were playing one scrimmage. I don't think it was an official scrimmage, but I remember you were talking big shit though. I feel like I wasn't really like doing too much until you started talking. And then I just remember you talking hella shit. And I remember I like picked it up. And but I remember you had shot a 3 or something. You were about to shoot a 3. And I remember I blocked it like real bad. And I just remember, but even then, like your heart never went away. Even if you were like a little discouraged on like in the inside, it didn't show on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just telling my son that earlier. I was like, bro, we were doing something and he was looking like a little weenie. I said, listen, man, I don't care how it feels on the inside. Don't let the outside look like a weenie. You know what I mean? So regardless, however you were feeling, I didn't see it. You still looked like you were ready for whatever. That's how you looked. Like, obviously the inside is different, but you looked to me like you were good, like regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, that game face.
Yeah, he had a good game face.
You gotta show up in practice every day. The next day, stone face, stone wall.
Yep.
But that, I would say, like, freshman year, it was kind of tough, man, because I ain't gonna lie. Remember we had them heavy-ass ankle braces? Yeah, remember that like boxing joints? You had to lace them up all the way to the top, and then we had to walk up the stairs? Imagine sometimes we had to go down them joints.
No, bro, I thought about that too, man. Like, the walking that we had to do as players at BC was extreme, bro. I'm not saying that other people don't walk, but like to walk like damn near a mile to the game, then warm up and play, and then a mile back, like no wonder like dudes were as thin as they could be with the least amount of body fat that they could have. Like, it was a lot of cardio going on over there. A lot of cardio, man.
And especially, I mean, when you're a freshman, that's true. Off the late night, you get back like late to some games, and you got to take that walk all uphill.
Rough, dude.
In the snow.
Both ways. It was crazy. Crazy, bro.
So crazy.
Oh, but that's what I was gonna say though. I remember when I asked y'all to come get on the bike with me, so because that bike really helped my knees, and I remember asking you guys to come get on the bike with me just so we could like try to get our conditioning up even more, because we were kind of all we had. Like that year, we had got off to that really bad start. And so Ryan, I'd asked them to come get on the bike with me like a couple nights a week. Like we went real hard on the bike, like we were, had the resistance high, and we were just going through, just getting that extra work in together. And I always just appreciated you guys coming, because like I knew what I was going to do and I didn't care who was coming. But for you guys who had big roles on the team as freshmen to like find that time in your schedule and just get it in with me, like I always appreciated that, because I knew what my goals were. But when someone's new, you don't always know. You know what I mean? You don't always know. But when I asked you guys responded. And I feel like right around that point is when we kind of turned that season around and started like stringing those games together. So it's little stuff like that, bro. Kind of to my point earlier, like that's like the stuff that really matters. Like the things the small little intricacies that really helped you guys turn stuff around when you were in tough moments. So I've always appreciated that. It just never came up before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one of the best things about that time was like you just made yourself available. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Honestly, I know Craig, you was around a little bit, but as a true freshman coming in, we all know who this dude is. Like, you never know what type of time he's gonna be on, all that type of stuff. Like, if he's gonna be, open arm to you, embrace you, whatever the case may be. But like you said, by doing stuff like that, like for me, like I remember, Christmas time, you got to come live with an upperclassman. I'm like, well, Troy probably definitely don't want nobody living with him. And then like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You trying to come to you know what I'm saying? You can stay in my joint. And I'm like, oh, bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So like, just even stuff like that was huge. So,
But that was the love that I was used to, from my old teammates. That's the love that someone like Mike Cotton, would have showed me. Even Harley, I think my sophomore year when we got to get out of upper, Harley said I could come live with them in was it Gabelli, whatever that was back then. And me and Harley weren't even tight like that, you know what I'm saying? But just the fact that he allowed me to go, to go be there and, just not be with some random person, I was used to that type of love, that type of brotherhood. So that's what I wanted to show you guys, but also too, that's what I wanted you guys to show the next guys that were coming in, so it wasn't even, I just feel like that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like if we're teammates, let's be teammates. Like I feel like a teammate, obviously we're in the same situation because we had the same goals. So now we're in the same place. Like that's gotta mean something. I feel that's why I've never really understood when like you get somewhere and you're teammates with someone and they're just weirdos. You know what I mean? Like that's always rubbed me the wrong way. I've always felt like your teammate, it's supposed to be love. Like, we're supposed to compromise and make this thing work, you know, for the greater good of whatever we're doing, bro. So it was love, man. Like, I'm glad that everything worked out, and I'm glad you guys were able to show that same love to the new guys. That's what it's about.
Yeah. That's what I was going to add too, because it was just like after you showed that, like we continued it, and I think we even went our own ways to go about things. So we made a graveyard shift where we had the players come in at the gym. Byrd, you remember this? We had the keys at nighttime, and we start going over plays and just working out on ball handling and stuff like that. And then in the morning we would have the breakfast club, we would lift at like 6 or 7 in the morning. And we will make sure, you know, we got that done. And then in postseason, we continue to add that, bro. So we never forgot about that. And we made sure that, you know, we handed it down to the next generation as well as the famous chair, too.
The chair. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
The infamous.
We held on to that for some years.
We held on to that. It was messed up because we felt like we wanted to give it to Dud, but we understood Dud only had 1 more year. So we had to give it to somebody who was way younger than us, and we gave it to Tyrese at the time.
That's so funny, dude. That's what's up, though. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, like, I remember I used to always ask Kimbo and Kenny Walls to come dribble with me, and Kimbo would never, ever come. Like, ever. I don't remember him coming one time, and that was my guy, you know what I mean? He just would never come. And I tell him, like, yo, Kimbo, you can shoot and you can jump super high and you play defense. What's left? Dribbling. Just come with me, learn to dribble, and who knows? Nah, blood, I ain't gonna be able to make it, blood. Like, so I'm just glad that like, not only were you able to take like a small page, you know, out of what I was doing, but like you said, you implemented it and had everyone doing it. Because I was trying to get people to do stuff. It's just that nobody really wanted to do stuff. You know, I'm not saying guys didn't come get working, because I know you could work, Jermaine, but like, you know, I feel like after Kenny said that, I don't even know if I asked anybody to do anything with me outside of you guys. I think, because I guess I was thinking like, well, if Kenny ain't gonna do it, then nobody's probably gonna do it. But when I asked you guys and then you guys came, I was like, man, that's really cool. Obviously, you didn't need to work on your handles, you know, and Byrd and Craig, like, you could already dribble, and it was just about us trying to be better. You know, it wasn't like we had something specific we needed to work on. But after Kimbo was like, yeah, blood, I'm not gonna do it, I was just like, I'm not asking nobody, man. I'm gonna let everybody do their thing, and I'm gonna try to do as good as I can as far as maintenance on my body. So yeah, bro, that makes me happy that y'all were able to not only implement it, but get guys to do it. And then probably half the team or something like that. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That shit
came like in that little workout. And definitely the Christmas break, my man we used to play 100 games of Bulls versus Blazers. Fouls on, though. This dude played with no fouls on.
There was no fouls, too?
Yeah, used to play no foul. Just run into my man. Ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, all day long, just Bulls versus Blazers.
Hey, on Sega, yeah, someone gave me a Sega. I don't remember who gave it to me. I mean, obviously Sega wasn't even in. Sega was way out, because Sega was out like 90. I think I was going hard on Sega in 94. So this was like, yeah, it was fun.
Still fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but I mean, it was way out though. You know what I mean? Like, it was not the game that people were playing. But that's the only game I wanted to play was some Sega. That was it. I don't know why. I don't know why.
UNCB used to be there going at it.
Man, bro, that used to be so fun. I don't know what it was about just running into somebody full speed. It just was so fun to me. Like ultimate fouls, you know what I mean? Like, that was the best. Probably because we couldn't do it in real game. I'm like, let me do something I can't do at all. That is.
Got a FARNAN'S fable for us?
I have a few FARNAN'S fables, yes. So
you got to explain the FARNAN'S fable first. You got to explain the FARNAN'S fable.
Yeah, what is that?
Stories I have about the person that we're interviewing. So I have a few. Okay. So I already told on the Tavio episode, I told about the time that Tavio fell asleep in the locker room in his chair, and you climbed up on the chair and just went, ah!
It scared him real bad.
Yeah, I told that one already. Another one was, unfortunately, what was about to be our last college game was in Minnesota. So you came, and I just remember you walked in the gym, and the first thing I see is like, what a shirt. You were wearing like a Napoleon Dynamite shirt. Yep. And it was like, somebody feed Byrd, gosh. Like,
yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
That was a good one. But the two ones I wanted to cover were one, and the first one, this one's a little bit more about me. But so again, like we worked together for like a year, and then kind of our season was over, and you were starting to train for the NBA drafts where you went in the first round. And like it was my first year as a manager, so I had no idea what to expect. And you were always like really good to me. I thought you were like a great guy. So like I wanted to offer to be like helpful and to be part of the process. So I was like, oh, I should like talk to Troy and be like, hey, if you ever need a rebounder or anything, do that. And so I did. But the thing was, the way I did it, because the season was over, we weren't like going to the gym or anything, is like I had my like BC like, you know, old like in the wall phone, and I had your number, and I like went out. I had 3 roommates freshman year, so I went out in the hallway and I called you like it was like me calling like a girl in high school or something, like all nervously. You're like, hey Troy, if you need any help, I'm available. Thanks.
Right. That's so funny.
So I just remember that as like, I probably could have had a little more confidence there. But and you were nice, and you never took me up on it. But like, you know, if you ever are making a comeback, I'm available to rebound.
I appreciate that, man. You know, it was crazy because when the season ended, like, well, first of all, we didn't go to the tournament. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. I really thought we were done. Like, I didn't think the NIT was an option. I thought I don't know where my mind was, but I was just like offended. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to the beach. We split with UConn. Like, are they crazy? Like, it was. But so when it was over, bro, like, I just was like, I want to say for a couple weeks, I was just like in a little baby funk. You know what I mean? Like, I just could not believe that this was happening to my team. Like, I felt like we deserved it. Like, I just, but I mean, I appreciate that call even still today, because not too many people ever offer to really do stuff, for you for nothing. So I appreciate that, bro. But I just was in a funk, man. And then I ended up signing with Bill Duffy, BDA Associates and all that. And I left. So I ended up going to California, like probably soon after that, bro. So I definitely would have hit you if I would have been around, but I was gone, man.
Yeah, no, don't worry. These guys made me do stuff all the time, so it balanced out. But the funniest one was another time, I think it might have been our senior year, it could have been our junior year. We were at BC, and you were in town, maybe playing the Celtics or something, or you were just in town, whatever. And we had shoot around, and you were sitting on the scores table with Coach Skinner, and you guys were just like talking. And to preface this, as you might remember, Troy, the 3 of us, me, Craig, and Byrd, were stars of a little show called The BC. Very successful, still funny to this day. And I was just like minding my own business, like walking by, like grabbing a ball, passing it or something. And you guys were talking, so I wasn't gonna bother you. And then all of a sudden, I just hear from the side, "Hey, Ryan, you gonna show Troy your DVDs?" I was like, so he was talking about the show, obviously, and I was like, wait, did Coach Skinner watch the show? And also, I have so many questions. And I was just like, what? And I don't know, Craig and Byrd probably weren't within earshot of that, because I'm sure they would have been like what? But that's one of the many Coach Skinner related Farnan and Fables, but that's the one most related to you. So I vividly remember that one too.
You know what's funny, man? I feel like Coach Skinner knows a lot more about what's going on than he ever lets on, and I've kind of been feeling that way, as of late, more so than any other period. But it's funny because he really is interested in stuff. He just doesn't really say nothing about it.
Yeah.
I reached out to Craig because when we all met up at the Final Four and hung out with Coach Skinner, and I called Craig, I was like, yo, Coach Skinner was bringing up stuff about different times, that may have happened that I would be like, it's no way he knows, like, he remembers that, he cares about that at all. But I'm like, he's bringing up stuff. He's like, he said, remember when Troy said Jermaine looked like the Miami Hurricane thing? And I'm like, ain't no way Coach Skinner know about that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, in the front of the bus, ear hustling, man. That's all it could have been.
Ear hustling and watching a fully action video where somebody dies in the first 3 seconds.
Oh,
Yep.
It's like a 25 death minimum.
So I mean, what was draft day like? Tell us about that experience.
Man, bro, draft day was crazy. So the night before, was it? Yeah, bro. So was it the day before? It was the 25th. So I felt like the 23rd, I had a terrible migraine, right? I get these migraines where, like, you know, I'm on the floor throwing up, sleep in the bathroom, migraines, like just awful. Like half the day is gone, right? So I was on this flight, leaving a workout. I got a migraine, right? I was looking bad. Some lady that I don't even know, big old lady, I was sitting next to her, and she just was like, yo, just put your head, just lay down, just put your head on me. You know what I mean? I don't even know this lady. I was just laying on this big lady, bro. Like I was all messed up, right? And the crazy part about my migraines is if I start walking, like if I walk too much, like I'll throw up. Like it's crazy, bro. So I get off the plane. Some guys like wheelchairing me somewhere because like I can't really see that good either. Like I lose vision like all over here. So they wheelchair me somewhere, right? And then they just left me, right? Like there was no plan. I wasn't even at like the baggage claim or nothing. Like they just left me, right? So then I felt like I had to throw up because they always got to throw up. Like this is just my little thing I have to deal with in my life, right? So I got to throw up. I got to go to this nasty bathroom at the airport. You know them airport bathrooms, you know how they can look. So I got to throw up in this joint, man, and then I make it back to my my little wheelchair, and then somebody wheeled me to the baggage claim. I was like, I was on Delta or whatever. They wheeled me to the little thing and left me there. And then luckily my dad came in, and I couldn't walk. You know, I was all messed up because if I walk, I'm gonna throw up, but I can't really see. I'm a horror story. So my dad comes in and helps carry me, walk to the car, grab my bag, help me upstairs to my childhood bedroom, which was probably my favorite bedroom of all time. And then I fell asleep. I called my agent. I said, I don't know if I can do that workout in the morning because I had to work out with the Wolves. But I was feeling terrible. So I was like, man, I'm going to just check back in the morning and let you know if I can do it. So I wake up. I still feel bad. But for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do this workout. So I went and did the workout. Kevin McHale was there. And a couple dudes you guys don't even know. And I got super busy, right? Like young legs, like everything went well. Shot the ball well, dunked on a few dudes, and like the one-on-one drills, like couldn't have asked for more. Mikhail was like, if you're around at 26, we're gonna grab you. In my mind, I'm like, I ain't gonna be around at 26. That's what I was thinking, right? I'm like, I would like to play for you guys, just because, like, just if you're like Craig, you play for your hometown team. Like you play for the hometown team, you're going as hard as you can every single time. Like, I feel like it would have even been a different level of turn up for me playing in Minnesota. You know what I mean? So especially if I could have played how I wanted to play, but I still was like, I ain't gonna be around at 26, like whatever. So I do that workout. Everything went well, and then draft day comes. I didn't go to the draft. I stayed home. I can't remember why, dude. I really don't remember why. I think part of it was like, but summer was so busy that I just was like, I just want to stay here. I'm more of a homebody anyway. So I'm like, I just want to stay here with my people. And we had like a big get together, bought a lot of food. Like it was crazy because I grew up in like a small house, and that whole little house, backyard, front yard, it was packed, bro. Like it was crazy. And we provided the food, for everybody. People were showing up that weren't invited. You know how it goes at like a black barbecue or something like that. So you look around like, damn, who's Buddy? Who's there? I didn't know a lot of the people. It got to that point. So the media came, the media showed up, man. And, it was really cool to have like my real family and friends like surrounded me and just kind of sharing that moment. It was the actual, just like the number part and the people that were around me and, hugging my uncles and my dad and my mom and all that was, it was crazy. It was a crazy feeling, man. But part of me feels like I probably should have went. Looking back on it, like I probably should have went. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm okay with whatever, but it would have been cool to be there as well.
Yeah. After you got your feet settled and, you know, now you're 10 toes down in the league, what was your first major purchase?
Man, bro. Well, the first thing I did was I gave my dad some money to pay the rest of the house off, his house. That was the first thing I did. That was, you know, and having no siblings, my mindset was just like, you know, mom and dad, you know what I mean? So that was my first thing. My second purchase was I got my, my T-Bell chain. This guy, Jason Arashibin, I think that's how you say his name. You probably know who he is, Craig. Out in Beverly Hills. Jason of Beverly Hills is like his jewelry name. So, and he's one of the coldest jewelers in the game too. So he was coming by. Back then, he was like a foot soldier for his own company. He had to come show us designs at the game and all that, the summer league. So me and Dante and I feel like a couple other people were getting our little chain designs together. And he gave me like a little discount, you know, if you can call 10,000 a discount. But it was, you know what I'm saying, based on like the carat weight and blah, blah, blah. But so that was my second purchase. My purchase for me. That was my purchase for me. You know, chains were in back then. You know, I still got it now. You know what I mean? It's upstairs. I don't ever put it on because where am I wear that to? But yeah, that was my first one. And then the car that I still have today in the garage. The one they put all the popcorn in, still got that car and still got a little popcorn in the middle console that I couldn't get out, some little kernels that just will not come out.
Tell us about that popcorn story.
Huh?
Tell us about that popcorn story.
Tell you about the popcorn story?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Popcorn.
Because a lot of people don't know, like, you know, it's a little bit of hazing that goes on within the league, you know what I'm saying? And it's always, you always hear this story, but
see, bro, but my popcorn story got bad when it was the second time. The first popcorn, I just was like, all right, everybody get the popcorn, you know what I'm saying? But when they caught me slipping with the second popcorn, then I was like, ooh, like this is a bad look. You know what I mean? So, all right, first popcorn story. I got to get my charger, fellas. So first popcorn story, man. We were at practice in Memphis, and man, I was walking to my car and I just started seeing all this popcorn on the ground, right? I'm like, man, somebody is really messy. like who spilled all this popcorn on the concrete? I'm feeling like I feel a little disrespected. Like who does this? Like all these trash cans around here. Why is there all this popcorn outside? So then I get close to my car and I'm like, man, the popcorn trail seems to stop here. You know what I'm saying? like a real bad detective. And I'm like, but my windows were so dark though that I couldn't even see in my windows. Like I had those, you know, those down south dark windows. So then I open my car and I'm like, yo, like this was all for me. Like they did this for me. They did this to me. Like I was hot, but I was like, you know what? They got everybody. So, you know, whatever. Everybody's cars. Dante's Range Rover's full of popcorn. They even got the manager. You know, I thought that was kind of low. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think
terrible.
I didn't think, you know what I'm saying? Right. I didn't think he deserved the popcorn, but you know, but if we're going to be a team, let's be a team. You know what I mean? Let's do it right. Let's not leave anybody out. But the second time though, that they got me, oh, there goes an extension cord. That's what I was needing right there. But the second time they got me, bro, see, this is when it got really, really whack for me. So like you guys know, like I wasn't playing, you know, wasn't getting no playing time, wasn't really vibing with certain dudes on the team. It was like, to me, it was the exact opposite of what I tried to show my incoming teammates and just what I was used to from a basketball standpoint. Like I was literally like in a foreign land with a bunch of dudes, like, and I just was not really feeling the vibe. Like plain and simple. I can't really say it any other way, bro. Like and especially especially as somebody who has had big roles on teams and just like the fairness I tried to show guys and, you know, all that kind of stuff, bro. I just literally felt like I was in like a parallel universe where, you know, I'm just out of my element. You know what I mean? Like from a people standpoint. So we played Dallas. This back when Nowitzki and Nash were on the same team. We're playing Dallas. We won the game. It was a good game. I feel like I had somebody in town. I just don't know who it was, right? Someone's in town. And so I'm in the shower. We win the game. I'm talking to James Posey. And we're showering, you know what I mean? And Theron Smith, one of the rookies, who came into the shower and he was like, yo, T, you and Dante, man, your car's full of popcorn and all the white kids are just eating popcorn out your car. That's what he said. I'm like, I'm thinking he's lying though. I'm like, nah, that's not happening. I basically just like blew him off. He was like, no, T, listen, I'm telling you, bro, like they're eating popcorn out your car. Everybody. I'm like, well, who did it? You know, I'm still calling this bluff like, well, who did it? They're like, Posey did it. I was like, nah, because I'm talking to Posey right here next to me. And if he did that to my car, he wouldn't be talking to me like nothing happened. Like, that's not what people do. You know what I mean? Still like, nah, T, that's not what happened. So then Posey's like, yeah, Rook, you didn't bring the donuts or something. I'm like, so in my mind, I'm like, the donuts, like, first of all, let me tell you about these donuts, right? So they want Krispy Kreme donuts. And I like Krispy Kreme donuts too, you know what I mean? But I don't live by Krispy Kreme. You know what I'm saying? Like Krispy Kreme is not by my house. Like it's far away too, bro. Like it was a hike to get to Krispy Kreme and then get to practice. Bro, you got to get up early. You know what I'm saying? Like early, because we practice at like 9. You know, we got rush hour, and then people want donuts in the morning. So what worse time for donuts to be, you know, the thing? So there was a couple times where I had got the donuts the night before, and some of them brought in some of the donuts. They was hot. Like, man, these donuts ain't fresh. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I got all these cuss words going on my head. Like, look down, whoop. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like on the inside, on some Lewis Hamilton type stuff, I was ready to beat people up. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, because I only have 2 things. Like, it's either I'm really cool or I'm really not cool. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I really try my best to not be not cool, because people don't recognize me when I'm not cool. Like, people literally be looking like, oh, like, and in my mind, I'm like, well, who did you think I was gonna become as you pushed all my buttons? You know what I mean? So, you know, I got the donuts the night before a few times. They was probably kind of raggedy. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I was eating them. You know, I probably put them in the fridge, probably heated them up in the mic before I left, like did some super bogus stuff. But really though, I don't really like y'all that much. And these donuts are really setting me back. You know what I mean? From a time standpoint. So y'all should just be lucky that these donuts are arriving. Like that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? So he probably, I don't know if he was saying the donuts weren't fresh or the donuts weren't there. Because I feel like I got them. I feel like one time I didn't go to Krispy Kreme. I went somewhere else and got some other donuts, but they were fresh. They didn't appreciate my efforts. So I'm like, you know what? Like, screw you guys. Like, that's where I'm at right here, right? So we're in the shower and Posey's like, yeah, rookie donuts, blah, blah, blah. So I put my stuff on super quick, right? I ran out there top speed. Jerry West out there, Isley Hines, I can't remember the owner. I think he's like damn near a billionaire. I can't remember. But Jerry and them are having a good time. They're happy about the win. And bro, it looks like the carnival at our cars. The carnival, like, you know, and let me tell you about my car. So this car was the car I was looking at in the Mercedes-Benz little thing, you know, while I was in college. Like, me and this car had a special relationship. That's why I still have it now, you know. So like this was like, you know, my little gift to myself. Like, it meant something to me. You know, you come from the hood, like, you know, you have a little goal, you know, and I didn't have like a whole bunch of random weird goals, you know, which is why I don't spend a whole lot of money, but I wanted this car. You know what I mean? Like, I really did. So I get the car and I go outside and it's full of popcorn again after I got a detailed job, finally got the butter smell out of it. And I'm just like, but see, here's the thing though, bro, when they usually get you at practice, you know, but at practice you came by yourself. So you're not disrespecting whoever you came with, but we're at a game. You feel me? Somebody came with me. I don't remember who it was. It's a long time ago, but somebody came. So it's like, dude, in my mind, I'm like, what if this was my mom or my aunt or my dad? Like, so my mom deserves to drive back home after a game, dressed nice in a pop. So I'm taking this level of disrespect to a whole nother level. You know, Craig's a scorer, but you know how we do when it gets there. So like, and I'm not really feeling my situation, which is probably number one. Because you know what? If they pull a prank but they're showing love, you can forgive it. But if you pull a prank and there's no love, you know, it's just all hostility. So I run back in the locker room, and it was fight time. I'm just letting you know what it was. Like, that's how I felt. Like, this is a fight. It's the second time you got me. Obviously, this is just blatant disrespect. And it's funny too, because if you remember how Kenyon Martin reacted to when he got popcorned at the end of his career, he was about to beat up everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I was there.
See, and you can talk about that. You can talk about that too. But see, Craig, I feel like there's a one popcorn maximum. You feel me?
Yeah,
like
one popcorn maximum for sure.
That's what it should be. It's one popcorn, one detail. You get your car back the closest new as you can, and you go on with your life. But when he got yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even tripping on the first one. Don't get me wrong. Was I inconvenienced? No doubt. I remember like it was yesterday. It was a beautiful day. I thought I was going to cruise around the city and do some young stuff. No, I'm at the detail place for 2 hours, getting popcorn sucked out of my car, ruined my whole night. My car smells like buttered popcorn. I told you guys I get migraines. Every time I get in the car, I'm damn near getting a headache because of the butter. So it's just like, man, like, this is crazy. So I run in there. Posey's gone. And I don't know how he left because he was full suds when I left. Full suds. So, but he done got out the arena. I can't find him nowhere. I called his phone's off. Like, I guess he knew, you know, what type of time I was in. Yeah, he got out there and he wouldn't answer his phone. So then, so the next day in practice, man, well, even before that, I called my uncle, man. And my uncle was a really tough guy. Rest in peace, Uncle Tony. I called my uncle and I said, Unc, yo, man, this guy on my team put popcorn in my car for the second time. And I called him because he's one of the only people that would really understand it, how I really felt. Like, how I really, really felt on the inside, on a disrespectful level. You know what I mean? Because your dad, as a dad, like being a dad, like, even if I feel like he crossed the line, I'm going to try to get you to not cross the line because you're my son and I don't want nothing bad to happen to you. But my uncle, he was kind of a loose cannon in certain situations, but he's also very smart. So I called him to kind of see what I could get away with. Really, I thought he was going to vouch for me and give me the okay to you know, whatever. So I called my uncle. I said, Uncle, this is what happened, man. And my uncle said, what is white America going to think when one black millionaire beats up another black millionaire for a $200 detail job? And you know, when you put it like that, you obviously can't beat the guy up anymore. And I'm not going to lie, I took his advice about 40% because the next day in practice, every time Posey shot the ball, I threw my ball at his ball. So was I a little petty at the time? Super petty. You know what I mean? Like, I literally threw my ball at his ball hard. His ball's going all around the gym. I'm waiting on him to just say anything to me. I'm walking like this. Like, just looking at him like this. Every time he shoots the ball, I threw the ball at his ball. Just imagine this, though. Like, you're shooting your shots, and a dude throws the ball at your ball, and you don't say nothing. You feel me? Like, none of you guys could do that. You'd be like, listen, bro, you'd say something. And that's what I was waiting on. I'm like, he's going to say anything, and the fight is on. Because I'm going to just say he said whatever when it comes to it, and then, you know, bend the story up. That's what, and then make it seem like, even though, like, probably shouldn't have been fighting, dude. You know, I'm a grown man. You know, but with the not getting any playing time, just everything, bro. It was just everything. Like, I was at a boiling point. Like, you know, it just felt so disrespectful to me that someone feels like my mom or my aunt deserves to drive home after a game in a car full of popcorn over some donuts that I probably did bring. Might not have been that fresh, but you feel me? Like, regardless, like, over some donuts, bro, I couldn't get over that disrespect. So I'm throwing the ball at his ball. He didn't say anything, though. He didn't say nothing. He just kept chasing his ball. Like, I could have never reacted like that. I don't care if it was Debo hitting my ball. I couldn't have reacted the way he did. but maybe he felt like he deserved this and he wasn't going to give me the opportunity to do it. I don't know. But then like a bunch of months later, I remember he said to me, he said, he didn't even look at me. He was like, "Hey, Rook, if you'd have hit me, I'd have been dialing my lawyer while I was falling down." And I was just like, you know, you can imagine what I said after that. It was just quick, like, you know, and that was it, bro. I didn't really talk to him, you know, probably damn near ever again. You know what I'm saying? But my NBA experience, bro, like it just was, I would have to rank it as like one of the worst NBA experiences that anybody had, because like when you tie in the injuries, you know, not really being able to rock while you were healthy, and then like just going to a situation where you just didn't feel like you should be there. Like we've all been in situations where you just fight, this is not for me. And that's how I felt from like the beginning. Like I just felt like this was not for me, like on any level, in any way at all. And that's just how I felt the whole time. And so finally I had that second knee surgery. And it was funny too, bro, because I missed summer league after my rookie year. I needed that summer league because I didn't get no minutes really. So I needed that summer league, missed that due to knee surgery. And then I had a good game against Atlanta. Thought I got like 20 something minutes, had like 14, like 7 assists, something like that. And then I bumped knees with Earl Watson the next day, knee swole up, and that was it. Like I didn't really recover. So it's just like nobody's situation could have damn near been worse. You know what I mean? So it was crazy, bro. Obviously, you're always thankful for the financial setup, but from a basketball standpoint, bro, it was tragic.
Yeah. No, I can understand how you feel about the donuts, because they used to make us, KG used to make us go and get the donuts. And if anybody know, I know you know, the Krispy Kreme was in like Edina from downtown. That's a mission.
That's not close, dude. That's
and
not
close. And we got to be at practice at like 9 a.m. So we started like, all right, so me and Randy Foy, we ended up talking to Krispy Kreme and they getting to deliver it, right? So we got them to deliver it. So we just chilling like it's good. Rashawn McCann snitches on us. Yeah, shout out Shotty for that. He snitched on us. KG came right in, said, "Oh, y'all getting these MF donuts delivered?" And threw the fresh one straight in the trash. So hold up, bro. Like, I'm a rookie. That's $30.
Yeah.
I'm hot though. I'm hot.
I know.
Yeah, and you had no money left because of that Bentley.
Nah, and that I had some. See what people don't understand about the certain percentages of it, but that I could afford that. But just the fact you had to get these donuts every day.
But didn't KG show love though?
He showed love. I can't front. He showed love.
Bro, and that's my whole thing. Like, if you're gonna ask somebody, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the drive to Edina is pleasant at all. I'm not saying that, especially during rush hour. That's a terrible, terrible drive. But all I'm saying though, bro, is like, if you want to do this rookie vet thing, be a real vet. Be a real vet. You feel me? If you want to play these reindeer games, be a real vet. Like, see, for me, bro, you're not gonna like ask me to go to dinner, hand me a bill when I like the one time we went to PF Chang's and they handed me a $1,000 bill and I had a salad, like, and we don't even like do anything together. I'm not paying this bill. Like, I crumpled the bill up, threw it back at one of them clowns. Like, dude, I'm not paying this bill. Like, there was no love being shown. There was no consideration. There was no none of it, bro. So for me, like as freshmen, I know if I'd have asked you guys, like, yo, man, I'm not feeling good, could y'all grab me a sandwich? Y'all would have grabbed me a sandwich because I show love. You feel me? But I don't feel like you can ask anyone for anything if there's no love being shown. And so for me, bro, I couldn't really figure out why y'all asking me to do anything. Y'all haven't shown me not. Bro, when I'm talking, I can't think of one thing that felt like love. Like, from day one, complaining about the boom box that you asked me to buy. Like, I'm talking about everything was an issue. Like, everything. So I'm not doing no extra stuff for none of you dudes. Y'all should be lucky that I'm going the night before, because, like, really, I don't even feel like the trade-off is what it should be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I know, and vets sometimes give you their per diem on the road. Like, it's only like 110, 120, but KG don't need that. He probably give it for DNA. It's just, I mean, just little stuff.
I took his luggage. He told me to take his luggage upstairs. I took his luggage upstairs. He gave me $500.
Bro, now here's the thing.
Why didn't any of you guys do that for me in college?
You know what I'm saying?
What?
Bro, I'm not even asking for that level of love, bro. I'm just asking for something. Like, you can't just ask me to do everything, and all you guys do is want to take and just. So yeah, bro. Like, I have friends that had amazing vets. You know what I mean? To show love and did stuff, but that just wasn't my experience, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. If I would have been like one of them players that got like a mean contract, man, rookies would have loved to come to my team. I'm telling you, man, we'd have been living. If I'd have had like a rookie or two or something,
if you would have got drafted to Minnesota,
or any of that, you know what I'm saying? All that would have been cool. All that would have been cool, bro. But yeah, man, it just wasn't what I was used to, man. Just simple and plain. Bad relationship.
Yeah, I don't know if you got any history with this in the past, but how'd you get used to boxing? How'd you get involved in that? What made you want to get involved in that?
The first time we started boxing, we used to box in the street. Get the little gloves. Everybody put them on. Super unsanitary, sweaty, nasty. You know how it goes in the hood. That was my first experience. But it wasn't until I had hurt. So when I got cut from the league, then I went to Spain and I tore my groin. And then I came back home, went to Chicago. What's up, baby? Went to Chicago. Then what did I do? I think I went to training camp with the Hornets. That was Chris Paul's rookie year. And then ended up, I think that was a starter when I can't remember, man. I know I hurt my groin there too. Ended up getting released from the Hornets. I came back. I wanted to stay in shape, and that's when I started boxing. I had a friend who used to be a pro boxer. He was like 29-0. He was really, really good. Just had a bad promoter. He should have been on TV doing this thing, but bad promoter, bad agent, it's tight. So I started training with him, and I had my first fight after a month, man. It just felt good. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I got like a big nose. So for me, my main objective really was like to not get my nose broke. I know it sounds crazy, but I was in every single, and I sparred damn near every day. Like when I went to the gym, I sparred anybody, big, small, tall, whatever. If you want to get in there, I want to get this work. I treated it like, basketball, like you go hard, you do what you do. So after I had my first fight, I think I fought a little Mexican dude, man. He wasn't talking crazy or nothing. So it was just a regular fight, beat him up pretty good. No big deal. And then the next fight, I fought this dude from Chicago, man, and he was talking big stuff. Like we were on HBO or something. Like he had a whole bunch of friends with him. It was crazy. And I told him, like, bro, like you're talking a lot of stuff. Like no matter what you say, we still got to fight. And I kind of told him that because I'm like, bro, you don't know me. Like I'm a real professional athlete. Like once you get me turned up, like it's going to be a totally different fight. If you'd have fought me cool, it might have been different, but I'm hot. So now we're really about to fight. Like, so that's that little clip on YouTube where I came out and put dude down in the first couple seconds of the fight. Like that was him. Like, and that's what happened. He ended up getting up, and I beat him up the rest of the fight, but I didn't knock him out or nothing. And then after that, people stopped coming to the amateur fights, man. Because it's free. So I guess people heard I was pretty good and was like, well, I don't want to get beat up. And I'm not saying I was the best. I'm just saying I was really good and I was really strong, especially at that weight class. And dudes just stopped coming. So then I just went back and played in the D League after that. But I loved it, man. It made my coordination in my offhand, my left hand, way better. Your footwork, just everything about it. If you really get in there and fight somebody in the ring, man, it's a real situation. It's not for everybody, and it's a tough sport, man. But I got a lot of love for it though, and that's why I work with Bear on all that stuff too. Like he got hands already, and my daughter's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, obviously playing basketball for so long, what would you say is different or the same about the two sports? And do you still do some of that today?
Well, you know what, man? I wish my son could hold the hand pads for me, but obviously he's just a kid, man. And I don't have a boxing, a heavy bag. I don't have one here. I kind of want to get one, but I don't really practice that much. I throw combinations here and there, but I'm just not in a situation where I can really do what I would want to do boxing, as regards to me. So I'm really just focusing on him. All I'm really focusing on right now is dropping these last couple of pounds so I can get my abs back for the summertime. Because I'm going to need abs at 40. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a little puffy, not as puffy as my girl made me look on that picture that she photoshopped, but I did get a little puffy. Even my face looked a little puffy. I look back at some old pictures, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I wasn't really feeling that. I think that picture really made me take it seriously again. So I'm glad she posted that bogus picture, the Photoshop queen. But yeah, bro. As far as my physical goals, I'm just trying to get these abs popping, man. That's my physical goal right now, and I plan on posting a shirtless picture and calling out all the homies that were talking bad about me in 2 weeks. That's what I'm about to do, man.
Right. And like you said, eventually after a couple fights, you had to get back into basketball. You did some D-League stuff. You also went over to Europe. What was your playing experience like in Europe? And then also talk about what it was like socially, just being a black man living in Europe.
Well, so when I first got to Spain, I remember this one time, it was Christmas. It was Christmas, man, and I didn't have any family there. Everybody was gone. I was in this hotel, and everything was closed. And I remember eating vending machine tuna sandwiches on Christmas, and they were old too, man. They were some old sandwiches, bro. I don't know when the last time they changed them sandwiches in the vending machine, but them joints were hard, like old tuna. Like, ooh, them were some nasty joints. But I had to eat, you know what I mean? I had to eat something. Scrapped up all my little change. I remember being in that hotel room in Spain, just being like, yo, this is like such a low moment. But it was Real Madrid, but it was in the beginning stages. It wasn't what Real turned into with that big arena. It was like, cold shower water Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? Well, I remember one time someone left a freight door open in the arena. We were practicing in full coats. You know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy. So that was my first experience, like outside of what I did with the team back in the summer at BC. So, but the crazy part is, it's Real Madrid. You're making hella money though. You know what I'm saying? Contract was like $60 a month. You don't got no cold water, and you might eat some vending machine tunas, but it's a mean contract. It's Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm not gonna lie though, bro. Like that was probably the loneliest I've ever felt because it was my first time being over there by myself. Obviously, coming from the NBA, all the injuries I had. At the time, I think I had something like a decent amount of resentment towards like all the things that had happened to me injury-wise and situationally. So like I wasn't even in a mental space to really like embrace it the way I would have liked to, thinking about it now from an older man's perspective. But the teammates were cool. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was cool. They gave you a jag. Like it was love. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was my first experience, but I wasn't mentally ready. Like, I'm not going to say mentally ready because I was ready to be there. I just think I was harboring some resentment, man, that didn't allow me to just take it in. And when I started feeling good out there, started feeling better, like really getting my stuff together, then I tore my groin. So like, it just ended up being like one thing after another, and that's when I came back to Chicago and started training with Tim Grover and, beat Michael Jordan one-on-one and all that. And ended up doing that stint with the Hornets. But after that, I ended up going overseas full time. I started out in Italy, and everything was kind of cool from there. It wasn't always ideal. There was teams that I left before. I'd never in Europe, particularly in Europe, bro. Like when I played for a coach that wasn't like a secure man, like as opposed to being like an insecure man, I always left those teams. Because I've never been able to play for a man that wasn't like a real man. Like I know it sounds weird, like, but all the men that I played for that I consider like real men, like speak their mind, don't be on some talking behind your back stuff, like hold people accountable, like a normal grown man, like we get along great. Like even Hubie Brown, like Hubie Brown was a real man. Like I didn't get along with him that good because I had a bad role. But if I would have had a role and got minutes, I could have got along with him because like he's a real man. You know what I'm saying? Like he speaks his mind. He may not be a nice man. He may not be a super agreeable coach, but he's a real man. Like he has balls. You know what I'm saying? Like like I could roll with him had my role been different, but whatever. So when I was overseas, I remember in both times I left teams overseas, no, all 3 times, I was the leading scorer. We always started off good, and then like you'd hit those little overseas, bumps in the road, and then these guys would start acting like, insecure men, and then I'd end up leaving, man. So every time I left, I was the leading scorer. Clearly not the reason things were going wrong, but it was better that I left, and I always went right to a team that ended up serving the purpose, and I was able to contribute and help. So overseas was good, man. It was just it's just not always easy to navigate. All my issues, they were never with the city. They were never with towns or fans or any of that. It was always just having like a weird coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, and who knows? Maybe I'm weird too. Maybe that's why, whatever. I'm not just gonna blame other people all the time. But when I look at my track record, like when I feel like I was around like secure men, fair guys, people that spoke their mind and pretty much kept it a buck, I never had any issues. So I feel like it wasn't me, but who knows? Maybe their standpoint will be different on that.
We got a couple more for you before we wrap it up. Just general questions, because you've been in this situation. I think you're the best person that I know to ask. As a young African-American, you're coming into the league, obviously, your financial situation changes instantly. How prepared do you think most people are to handle that situation? And is there enough in place to help people handle that situation?
You know what, bro? It's funny because like I didn't come from money. Like my dad was a bus driver. My mom, she worked for State Farm. They just grinded, you know what I mean? Just regular grinders. And, we never really had any financial talks or any of that though. But I think growing up in my house, what I learned from my parents was like, they never tried to live above their means. I'm talking about never, you know what I'm saying? Like never went and got no new big old expensive car, never wore super flashy stuff. Never, like when other people did good, like in our circle, they congratulated them, never tried to keep up with them. I think watching their example of like slow and steady wins the race, even without having any real financial conversations or financial knowledge, man, it just, I think they set the foundation without even knowing what they said. You know what I mean? Like we lived it, like they were about to move one time. I told them, I said, all I'm gonna do is come back to the hood. Y'all can move where you want. My friends over here, I'm gonna ride my bike, I'm coming back. And I think that once they knew that I didn't care about none of that stuff, that they were more comfortable just staying in their starter house because they thought it was gonna be a starter house, but we ended up living there my whole life. And after my dad passed, I bought my mom a house in the suburbs, but my dad wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have left that house. That's just my dad. He was going to stay there. That was his castle. That's what it was going to be. But my parents were just really, really steady, man. Like I said, they didn't have like any vast financial knowledge. Nobody went to college. It's just that watching them, what I learned was just save your money. Like, I don't think it has to be super complicated. I think that there's always investments to make, stocks you can invest. There's all this stuff you can do, but just saving your money. Like for me, I had a safe too when I was probably like 11 years old. I just put my basketball cards in there, my baseball cards, whatever little money that I got from my parents or cutting grass or shoveling snow. And so I always just saved my money. Like I always wanted to see my money. I always wanted to know where it was. I never really, I don't know. I just didn't really trust too many outside things. I felt like I trust what I can see. And I always believed in real estate just because obviously your money's in the house, like this house that I live in now. I'd sold my condo. Craig, you went to the condo. Byrd, did you come to the condo, Byrd?
I've been there.
Yeah, Sean. Was it Sean and Dudley or whatever?
Me, Craig, and Dudley, I think.
Dudley. Yep. So y'all came to the condo. I sold that condo once Jay got pregnant. So when Jay got pregnant and caught me slipping, then she obviously we had to leave the condo because there was no more room in the condo with a new baby coming because Bear's toys were taking up everything. So I just sold the condo that I had paid cash for, took that money, put it in this house, put like another 50 on that. And so this house is paid off just like the condo was. I just tried to keep things simple, man. Like when I got my first money, I paid off my mom and them's house. They didn't have a whole lot, but I paid off the rest. The house in Tennessee, I paid that off because it was for my mom. But then my dad said he wasn't going to move there. So then I sold that because I didn't want to divide them up because my mom's from Tennessee. So I had to sell that so that my dad wouldn't feel a certain way about it. Just all this weird stuff. But long story short, though, everywhere that I've lived in America, I just paid cash for. Like, and so when I think about like guys that come into money, you know, because I heard this story about my homie out in Vegas. He used to do real estate, and there was this player. I don't want to name his name, but he made over 35 million in his career, and he couldn't get like a $200,000 loan to buy a house in Vegas. And he told me that, and I was heartbroken for the guy. I was just like, wow, that's crazy to touch 35 million. You can't get a regular size house. Like, it then come to find out he rented a house in LA for like $4,000 or $5,000 a month his whole career for 12 years, never owned any real estate. So I just feel like a lot of people that are playing ball, you know, they feel like it's never going to end. And a lot of people spend like that, you know, so it's just, you know, with me, with my knees hurt in high school a little bit. So I knew there was an expiration date on careers. So I just treated my money like, you know, this could go at some point, you know what I mean? And then, you know, seeing how Antoine Walker kind of was living out in Boston, like every time I seen him, he had a different car. Don't get me wrong, like he looked amazing, you know, doing his thing, you know, first black guy I've seen in one of those big Audis with the rims. I didn't even know Audis were cool until I saw him driving an Audi with the rims. I said, ooh, that joint there, I never even looked at those before, but that is vicious, you know what I'm saying? So I've seen him in so many different cars, man, seen him in Bentleys and Rolls Royces and Range Rover. I mean, just everything, bro. So like, I think it was a combination of like seeing that slow and steady wins a race, you know, seeing guys like Antoine Walker living, you know, just frivolously, but making major bread. And then being around, I had a teammate, man. I remember I saw his check. He sat next to me. No need to name him, but he was getting $285,000 twice a month. And I remember just looking at that check like, man, like this is a real check. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a check. Like, I mean, there's people, and I know guys that made way more money than me. I'm talking about light years past me that now are in tough situations, man. And so I just feel like a lot of guys, they don't really realize that this is temporary. I think it's because we played ball for so long, like as kids. And I think some people legit feel like, no, this ain't going to stop. This not going to end, man. But being someone who's always played with pain, I just always knew that there was a day where this was going to end. Because, man, I had days in my early 20s where I was feeling like, man, like, can my knees hurt any more than this? So I just kind of went into it with a different mentality, man. I'm not saying I didn't buy stuff, bro. Like, I bought stuff. You know, I did, you know, normal stuff, but I just tried to keep it, you know, kind of like a perfect example, right? So we went to Jacob the Jeweler back when Jacob the Jeweler was popping. And I remember Dante spent like, I want to say about 75,000 in there. And J. Will White Chocolate spent like 300,000 in there. No, like 150. Lorenz and Wright spent like 350 in there. Posey spent like 150 in there. And Frugal T, I spent like 6 and I still got the chain. You know what I'm saying? So I just tried to always like buy stuff that I was going to like forever, you know, make like purchases that weren't just like in the moment. Like, this is something that I want forever. Like my T-belt chain, still got it. The Benz they popcorned up, still got it. You know, the Escalade from that same time, still got it. I'm driving a 03 or 04 and a 13. My girl got a 20. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I don't care. Like, I just want something that I can dig. I'm not trying to look all cool and, you know, pull up to the park like, who's that? No, I'm just trying to, you know, coast on through and, you know, do my thing, you know. So
Gotcha.
I just try to, you know, just try to do like what my parents did, man.
And then lastly, like we talked about at the beginning, just bring it all full circle. As a father, you know, raising a son and a daughter, what gives you hope that they'll grow up in a better world than what you grew up in?
Well, man, bro, to be honest, I think the world is always getting a little better because these new kids, this new generation, for the most part, I feel like they have more knowledge than we had growing up, more access to knowledge. I feel like they're taking advantage of that. Like when you look at all those protests, man, like it warmed my heart to see how many different races were in those protests. you know, and in Minnesota, you know, we got a lot of white people here. The white people were right there with us the whole time showing love, bro. So when you see stuff like that, you know that change is on the way. It's just that, you know, some of the powers that be, you know, some of those people, you know, may not be on the same accord. I think that's what makes it real tough. But as far as the foot soldiers, the everyday people, I feel like most of them are, you know, they want things to be better for everybody too, you know, because to me, it's not, because I don't know, man, oppression is just a real tough thing, man, you know, and classism and all that stuff, you know, it's just, all of it's tough, man. I was raised to just treat everybody as well as you can, and unless they give you a reason not to. So for me, you know, I said it before, like, I don't even understand racism, because I don't understand how you cannot like somebody for something that they can't control, and or like someone that didn't hurt you directly. I've never disliked somebody that didn't do something specifically to me. You know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, if you do it to someone that I love or someone and someone that I trust, okay, yeah, I could have a certain taste in my mouth, you know, because I trust that person's opinion. Like if Byrd, any of you guys told me, hey, this guy's a bad guy, I'm going to, in my mind, I'm be like, well, I don't have to meet this guy because I trust you guys. You know what I mean? So if it's something like that, it's cool, but I just don't understand the disliking someone when they didn't do anything to you. So racism is like a foreign thing to me altogether. Like it wasn't how I was raised. I have family members that are white. I have super close friends that are white. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I believe in disliking someone because they gave you a reason to, and I exercise that in my life. If I give me a reason to not talk to you, to block you, any of that, hey, I'm more than happy to do that. I will block you in a heartbeat. You know, I'm the block champ. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand, like, disliking someone that you haven't had an interaction with. I don't get that.
Yeah, man. I definitely feel you on that, because it's just like there is no real reason for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you just hating. Like straight up.
I know. And if you look back to the early 90s rap, nothing's worse than just being a hater for no reason. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were raised on. You know, don't be a player hater. Like that was the thing. So you know, we don't agree with that. Like we don't believe in it. We don't like it. It's just not how we roll. So that's where I'm at too, man. Old school, man.
Old school. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, well, Troy, thank you so much for joining, and for those thoughts at the end as well, and some very entertaining stories in the middle too. And also, I'm sure you're somebody that we'd love to have back. I think there's some areas we could dive more into, but you also left a perfect teaser that you mentioned in like 3 seconds of like, oh yeah, the time I beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. So let's save that one, and we'll cover that one next time. And yeah, thanks again for joining, for being, you know, a great teammate and a great friend, and for all that you've done. And hopefully a lot of people watching this will recall a lot of 3-pointers and a few dunks, you know, a few dunks.
And 1 threes. He was shooting 1 threes. That was the first person I seen.
Yeah, a lot of
won a game.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Somebody has said the other day, they were like, man, I don't think people made a stat out of that until you started doing it. And I was like, you know what? I never really thought about that before. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all too, man. Y'all have a good night, and we'll pick this up at some point. But also too, congrats on the podcast, man. You know, I checked out a lot of the Yuka stuff. I'm gonna check out Tavio's, man. So keep doing your thing, fellas.
Appreciate it, bro.
Definitely. Have a good one, y'all.
All right, you too,
bro.